Good afternoon, and thank you for joining the Oregon Employment Department for today's media briefing. We're going to wait just another couple minutes to give everybody a chance to join. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am Rebecca Gibson King, Communications Director for the Oregon Employment Department. Today's speaker is Lindsay Leahy, Unemployment Insurance Director. Agency Director David Gerstenfeld and Karen Madden-Hummelbaugh, Paid Leave Oregon Director, will also be on hand to answer questions after our opening remarks. A couple of quick notes. This call is being recorded and we will post the recording online and send out the link after the briefing to everybody who RSVP'd. We'll take questions after opening remarks. And if you have any technical difficulties or are otherwise unable to ask your question today, please send an email to communications@employ.oregon.gov and we'll assist you. I will now turn it over to Unemployment Insurance Director Lindsay Leahy. Please go ahead, Lindsay.
Thank you, Rebecca. Today, I will be sharing some details on what customers can expect before and after Francis Online goes live with unemployment insurance benefits on Monday, March 4th. Francis Online offers features that will provide a better customer service experience. It's also mobile friendly. Customers will be able to do a lot more things online through self-service features instead of waiting for a letter in the mail or calling the unemployment insurance contact center. This is the same system that is currently being used for employer contributions and paid leave Oregon benefits. We communicated about the migration and planned service outage in our last media briefing, but this information is worth repeating. We will begin migrating unemployment insurance benefits to Francis Online at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, February 27th, and the new system will launch at 8 a.m. on Monday, March 4th. The due dates to avoid a delay in payment are 5 p.m. on Tuesday, February 27th for new initial claims and 5 p.m. on Wednesday, February 28th to file a weekly unemployment insurance benefit claim for the week of February 18th through the 24th. To be clear, if claimants do not file their initial or weekly claim by these due dates, they will be able to file their claim after the new system launches at 8 a.m. on Monday, March 4th, though their payment will be delayed if they wait. During the migration, unemployment insurance customers cannot use our systems to file an initial claim or file a weekly claim, restart a claim, make changes to claim information, make payments, respond to requests for additional information, or complete ID verification. We will also not be able to provide customer service during the migration. This is because we want to process as many claims as possible before the old systems go offline. And then after the systems go offline, staff will not have access to customer information. The unemployment insurance contact center phones will be offline starting on Wednesday, February 28th, and they will reopen at 8 a.m. on Monday, March 4th. A service outage like this is normal for any big technology project. Claimants should visit unemployment.oregon.gov for more details on the migration. After the launch, claimants will be able to perform many familiar tasks within Francis Online. They may look different, but they will be easier and more efficient in the new system. Francis Online will provide several new self-service features for customers, including the ability to check the status of their claim, view copies of mailed letters, view eligibility decisions, upload supporting documents directly into the system, respond to questions about eligibility, which will help us make decisions faster, and send and receive secure messages through the new system. It is important to note that some information will still have to come by mail, even if claimants select to receive electronic communication. Customers are going to see some new processes for identity verification that will enhance our fraud protection measures. The Employment Department is always balancing the customer service aspects of providing timely benefits and protecting people's benefits by making sure someone hasn't already used their name to file a claim. When that happens, it can cause a delay for the real person while we investigate and update our records. The first step for claimants to use Francis Online including for filing a claim, will be to create a Francis Online account. However, customers should not set up a new Francis Online account for unemployment insurance benefits before Monday, March 4th. Another major change with the launch of Francis Online, another major change with the launch of Francis Online is that our smaller specialized unemployment insurance programs like WorkShare will be able to use the online system. WorkShare helps Oregon businesses avoid layoffs and keep their talented and skilled workers during a temporary decline in business. Instead of laying off workers, participating employers reduce the employees' hours and earnings, and those workers can then receive a portion of their unemployment insurance benefits to supplement their lost wages. WorkShare employers currently file weekly claims on behalf of their participating employees. With Francis Online, those same workers will be able to create their own online account and then file their own weekly claims online. Francis Online will also provide faster and more complete service for employers. The primary difference after March 4th is that employers will have the option to use Francis Online to view documents and respond to our requests for information about their former workers, which will be much easier and more efficient. Now, not everything is changing. Here are some of the things that are staying the same for claimants. Phone numbers will not change, including the Unemployment Insurance Contact Center main line at 877-FILE-4UI. That number is 877-345-3484. And the automated weekly claim line at 800-982-8920. Unemployment.oregon.gov will still be the best resource for customer service information, including how-to guides, frequently asked questions, videos, and more. Our online system will still be available in Spanish and English. Unemployment insurance benefit eligibility rules will remain the same. And as a reminder, while the system will be easier to use, federal and state law make the unemployment insurance program quite complex. In Francis Online, complicated claims will continue to take longer to process than simpler ones. In the coming weeks before the migration and after the migration, it will be important for claimants to check their mail daily, review all letters and messages from the Employment Department, regularly check unemployment.oregon.gov, and follow us on social media for important updates. We expect a lot of people to call the unemployment insurance program for at least the first couple of weeks after Francis Online goes live. Instead of calling, we encourage customers to use Francis Online to check claim status and use the other self-service features in the new system. We know that the migration period and service outage may be frustrating. It is a necessary part of the process to upgrade to our new system, but we will also use that time to prepare for the launch and make that process as smooth as possible for customers. We know that some things may not go as planned, but we are prepared to adjust and respond as needed. Our commitment to Oregonians is to communicate early and often about any emerging issues and how we are working to address them. I know I'm sharing a lot of information with you today. Please know that this information is also available on our website at unemployment.oregon.gov. Now I'll turn it back over to Communications Director Rebecca Gibson-King.
Thanks, Lindsay. We're now going to open the lines to members of the media to ask questions. Remember, we have more than just Lindsay. We also have Karen from Paid Leave and our director, David Gerstenfeld. If you're joining us by phone, please make sure to hit *6 to unmute yourself. And as a courtesy, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up question. I'll open it up for one additional question if there's time at the end. And if you don't get your question answered today, as always, you can always email us at communications@employee.oregon.gov. And I see we have our first hand up. Christina, just give me a moment to give you a chance to talk. All righty then. Go ahead, Christina.
Thanks. Yeah, this is a question for Karen with Paid Leave Oregon. What processes do you use for responding to ADA accommodation requests, and what turnaround time should ADA requests expect?
It's thanks for that. You can request an accommodation through our contact us form, or you could also request something through your Francis Online. We're actually enhancing this feature when we go live with unemployment insurance, so there'll be some additional options to choose from. But you can choose whatever accommodation you might need, whether that be like print information or you need something in a different language, et cetera. So I don't have any statistics for you on how long that would take.
The last person I talked to said it's been taking 10 days to get back a response on ADA. Is that pretty common?
I really can't speak to that. That's not a statistic I've looked into.
Is it acceptable to take that long to respond to an ADA request?
I'd say we're doing the best we can on all requests we're getting, whether they be for an accommodation, which is one type of request that we receive. So we'll do our best to respond to those, whether they come in the contact us or in the web notices inside Francis.
Great. Thank you, Christina. Do I see any other hands? I have Kyra Buckley with OPB. Hold on one second. All right, go ahead, Kyra.
All right. Hey, thank you all so much for the time again. And I appreciate the update. And of course, I'm going to ask you a question about something else. This question is for David Gerstenfeld. I think it was a couple months ago in one of these press conferences, I asked you about overpayments for unemployment insurance and recouping some of that money from customers and the communication around it and some of the frustrations. And you had indicated to me that you guys were also hearing that people were frustrated about the communication. I'm wondering if you're still hearing some of that from folks and if you feel like you have the staffing levels to help follow up on some of those concerns.
Thank you, Kyra. So this is an area from a couple of perspectives where there's more that we want to do. We do think that we've made a lot of improvements, and frankly, even with the absolute best possible communication, we know that anybody who's dealing with an overpayment situation, that just is inherently stressful. And we want to do our best to explain things and to work with people to make it as easy as possible to make sure they know what all of their options are. We will see some improvement as we go live with the new system. So there is actually a connection to a lot of what was talked about today, where we think the processes and the communications will be better. In terms of the staffing to respond to it, we frankly don't think that we have enough staff to respond as quickly as we would like to the overpayment situations and to a lot of the other customer service aspects of unemployment insurance. And I've shared before that unemployment insurance is a federally funded program in terms of the administration of it. And unfortunately, for decades, that federal administrative funding just hasn't been enough. We've implemented a lot of efficiencies, a lot of customer service improvements, but we also know that we want to do more to make the program more accessible, more user-friendly for the public. And the federal resources aren't enough on their own. We are pursuing some additional state level funding through this legislative session. It's something that we've heard a lot of support for. And we hope that we will be able to maintain or increase staffing levels so that we can keep improving customer service.
Thank you. That's really helpful. And then I guess just my follow-up would just be if you could talk a little bit more about how this migration to Francis Online might impact communication around some of these more complicated or complex claims, like if somebody is dealing with a previous claim that was actually an overpayment.
Sure. And a couple of things. It will be cleaner for new claims that start in the new system. One of the complexities of a big technology migration is taking existing claims that were created in the old system and moving them over. So I'll be talking primarily about that. But one of the key things that we did was the huge amount of communication that goes out to people, all the different things that they may encounter, from Francis Online screens to the letters. All of those went through a plain language review and review by our Equity and Inclusion Office to make sure that we were using accessible language and not inadvertently creating barriers. So we think that a lot was done to make it more understandable. In our old system, some of those form letters were actually hard-coded into the COBOL system. So even if we knew what we wanted to say in a more understandable way, it was just prohibitively complex and time-consuming to update. So there's that improvement to the language itself. And then some of the processes we also anticipate being much better. For instance, if we believe that somebody received benefits that they weren't entitled to, and it's because we learned of new information that they weren't eligible for a past week, in our mainframe legacy systems, those were two separate decisions that went out. And the new system in Francis Online, that will generally be one decision that goes out addressing both of those issues at once. And that should streamline things, should make it easier for people receiving those notices to know what to do, and should be easier for our staff to help address any appeals or any concerns or new information that people provide when they get those notices.
Thanks so much for taking my questions, and thanks for that detail.
Okay, it looks like we have time for one more question from Christina. Go ahead, Christina.
Am I still on mute, or can you hear me okay? Oh, it looks
I hear you.
All right, thank you.
Sound good.
This is another question for Karen. I talked to an applicant who said that she had called in to check on her claim and was told it would take 2 or 3 months to process, and that this is the case for everyone, not just her. And the employees that are answering the phones are also the same employees that are processing claims. Is that accurate information?
I wouldn't say that that's accurate. And I'd love to listen to the call if you want to forward that to me so I can follow up on that. That information on how long it takes. I think I've mentioned this to you before. We're not actually, we don't have that data point yet. So that would not be an accurate statement. We'll make sure that if that is being said by folks, that we can get some training out there to better reflect that for customers. We do have all of our staff actually are trained to be able to answer the phones. And so it is possible that someone who works claims is working phones or vice versa. And we do move those folks back and forth based on volume, based on other priorities, based on things that get escalated or put into a different queue. So it kind of depends on the day-to-day based on phone volume, whether someone might be working on the phones or working claims.
Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Yeah, one more, and then we'll wrap it up.
The last time we spoke, you told me that employees were not getting notified when documents are uploaded or when someone messages them about their claim. Is this something that you plan to change?
We've been working on this issue, yes, as I mentioned last time, and we actually have some exciting pieces that we're talking about, some of which might actually be able to go into place when we go live with unemployment insurance or shortly thereafter. So we're going to continue to have those conversations about system changes that will help us manage that work. Absolutely.
Well, great. I don't see any other hands raised, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As a reminder, this call was recorded and we will send out a link to reporters who RSVP'd. We'll also post it on the media page at www.oregon.gov/employ under news and agency information. Thank you to everyone who participated today for your partnership in keeping Oregonians informed. Thank you.